Hello, my name is Fern G. Z. Carr. My website is www.ferngzcarr.com. I'd like to welcome you to my themed poetry reading series. Here is Part 2, Science. The combination of science and poetry has no limits. There's so many branches of science, with topics ranging from the microscopic to the macroscopic. In this segment, I've tried to portray as wide a spectrum as possible, starting with physics and the reality of the power it wields. I then moved on to a combination of chemistry and biology to illustrate contrasts from a philosophical point of view. My third poem uses geology in part to relate to the personal lives of families who are dependent on its resources for their sustenance. I concluded with a poem that encompasses the domains of philosophy, physics, chemistry, biology, and astronomy as my tribute to science. Many of my poems are based on true life events. There have been several news stories that have provided the impetus to write poetry. This is definitely one of them. The magnitude of the tragedy was so widespread, everyone wished it had never happened. I ran with that concept by trying to make all that ugliness disappear. I wrote Chernobyl Undone in reverse chronological order, starting with the aftermath of the disaster, then moving to the incident itself, and finally ending with the tranquil scene preceding the explosion. This is a poem of contrasts. It also mirrors the steady stream of events that occurred. To not detract from the flow of the piece, I purposely didn't include any line breaks or special formatting. Like the striped tower by Chernobyl's damaged Reactor 4, this poem simply appears as a vertical column on the page. Chernobyl Undone. Pripyat, Ukraine. A ghost town inhabited by the elderly, content to compromise their remaining years for the sake of the familiar. A rogue nuclear reactor entombed in steel and concrete. Denial. Inordinate incidences of childhood thyroid cancers. Babies born with no eyes or limbs. Geiger counters spitting out Röntgen readings 30 billion times normal. Cleanup crews transformed into sacrificial lambs, rescue teams bombarded by gamma radiation 100 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. The world's worst nuclear disaster. Incineration. No containment facility. A nuclear reactor's roof explodes with unprecedented fury. Alert! Alert! Core meltdown of Chernobyl reactor number 4. Incompetence. Disregard for safety. Experimentation. 1:23 a.m., April 26th, 1986. The early hours of the morning. Workers' families sleep in the neighboring town of Pripyat. They enjoy a quiet night, a peaceful night. When it comes to submitting my poetry for publication, I always try to ensure that it finds the perfect home. That was certainly the case with my poem, Whose Air Did I Breathe? I was pleased that Antioch University, New England, published it in Whole Terrain, a journal of reflective environmental practice. They also did a follow-up interview with me where I explained that this poem deals with interconnectedness and conservation in a universe where transformation is part of our life cycle. The interview's online if you'd like to check it out. On a less serious note, there is a funny story behind this poem. I was drinking a glass of water one day when my husband, with a huge grin on his face, told me I was actually drinking trace amounts of Julius Caesar's urine. Eugh. I think he was looking to see me do a spit take. Instead, I was intrigued, but yet pretty skeptical. So I decided to research the recycling of atoms to see if he was right. He was, and that motivated me to write this poem. Since the subject matter was so interesting, I wanted the poem's structure to be interesting as well. I also wanted some of the stanzas to reflect evil or a loss of innocence. I therefore wrote Whose Air Did I Breathe as a poem within a poem, whereby the first and fourth lines of every stanza could stand on their own. The italicized second and third lines provide contrast. Finally, I nested these dichotomies within the overarching themes of the poem. Whose air did I breathe? Conservation of matter, an eternal metamorphosis of splendor and sorrow in a universe of recycled atoms. Snowflakes, once the sweat of galley slaves rowing across treacherous seas, gently fall on a still winter's night. Spray from a Tahitian waterfall, one droplet from the tears of an elephant mourning the loss of her calf, graces an orchid's fuchsia petals. Tiny hands proffer a drink of lemonade, containing molecular traces of Hitler's urine. Only 10 cents a glass. A desert oasis, created in part by the saliva of a madman, is the sustainer of life for its inhabitants. And so it is with air, O2 in, CO2 out, the metabolic function of respiration, in sync with the rhythmic powerhouse of the cosmos. We borrow these atoms, alone from the natural world, shared by living beings, but will never have sole proprietorship, which begs the question, whose air did I breathe? As I mentioned, I'll often draw themes for my poems from real-life events. Ballad of a Coal Miner's Wife is one such poem. Unfortunately, there have been devastating accidents in the coal mining industry where miners have lost their lives trapped underground. Of course, I felt awful for those who lost their lives, but I still couldn't help thinking about the people they left behind as well. No one can ever truly fathom what another person experiences emotionally unless they've also experienced the same thing themselves. Yet, I tried to capture in part what I imagined to be a wife's constant worry, as well as her husband's last moments trapped underground. Like an ashes to ashes philosophy, I used the science of the formation of coal deposits in conjunction with this miner's death for a carbon-to-carbon effect in keeping with the theme of the poem. Ballad of a Coal Miner's Wife. Plant remains in the bowels of a primordial swamp, crushed under sand and mud, transformed from peat to anthracite, to sweat, to tears, to blood. But those were not your thoughts as your husband left for work, with his pickaxe, shovel, miner's helmet, and a "don't worry about me" look that betrayed his chiseled face. When he returned home, you tried not to notice the stooped shoulders and wheezing. You ignored the coal dust that camouflaged his features and crept into his aching lungs, slowly suffocating him like a black cat stealing the breath from a suckling infant. Until the unmentionable finally had to be mentioned, judiciously. Meted out in whispers and knowing glances after his descent down the mine shaft hundreds of feet below to lay explosive charges that were never destined for him. Charges that commingled his remains with the bowels of a primordial swamp crushed under sand and mud, to transform him into nothing more than a carbon trace memento, whose final bequest was a heart drawn in the dust and an "I love" scrawled with trembling hand. While you set the dinner table, glancing at the door, awaiting your children's father, who can't come home anymore. I happened to read a book called The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. It brought out my philosophical side and was the inspiration for my poem, I Am. This poem has really seemed to resonate with people. I was deeply honored when the former Canadian Parliamentary Poet Laureate, Pierre Desruisseaux, chose it as Poem of the Month for Canada. I was also thrilled to learn that I was one of 4 Canadians to win an international contest in Italy for both my English version of this poem and my Italian translation. I've since translated it into Spanish and was pleased that the University of Wisconsin Department of Spanish and Portuguese published it in their journal Zona de Carga. I also translated this poem into Mandarin with a lot of help from my teacher. Since I Am touches on aspects of physics, chemistry, biology, and astronomy, I just had to include it in this science-themed reading. I am. I am the stars, the wind, a crystal, a blade of grass, a feather. I am entropy, a random assortment of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and trace elements in a body that happens to exist at this point in time. Its individuality organically interconnected to the universal. I am a body that possesses limited cognition, an integral but trivial speck of infinity. I am a part of the universe. I am the universe. I exist. I am. Acknowledgements and credits. All poems contained herein copyright Fern G. Z. Carr. I Am is from my poetry book, Shards of Crystal. Chernobyl Undone was first published in New Contrast, South African Literary Journal. Whose Air Did I Breathe was first published in Whole Terrain, a journal of reflective environmental practice. Ballad of a Coal Miner's Wife was first published in the Nashwack Review. I Am was first published on the Parliamentary Poet Laureate Poem of the Month website. Plasma ball photo courtesy of Hellacious on Unsplash. Nuclear control panel photo courtesy of Dan Myers on Unsplash. Destroyed interior photo courtesy of Ilya Nedilko on Unsplash. Clouds photo copyright Fern G. Z. Carr. Droplets photo courtesy of Ricardo Gomez Angel on Unsplash. Coal miner photo courtesy of Ministry of Information Photo Division photographer, public domain on Wikimedia Commons. Coal photo courtesy of Hunter So on Unsplash. Galaxy photo courtesy of Jeremy Thomas on Unsplash. Andromeda Galaxy photo courtesy of Guillermo Ferla on Unsplash. I would also like to thank Canadian Heritage, the Canada Council for the Arts, and the League of Canadian Poets for their support. Je voudrais remercier Patrimoine canadien, le Conseil des arts du Canada et la Ligue des poètes canadiens de leur soutien.